I call this regular Board of Education meeting to order on Thursday, December 18th, 2025 at 6 p.m. If we could all please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America. Thank you. If we can get a roll call, please.
Jancic.
Here.
Dee Darling.
Here.
Catherine Potter.
Here.
Bridget Sandlin.
Here.
Mindy Hartman.
Here.
Julie Jetty.
Here.
Stacy Salt.
Next up, we have community input. It doesn't look like anybody signed up. There's nobody here that would like to speak. Next up is open forum. FOIA requests. There was one FOIA request this month that's in the board packet. Member comments. First up, Mrs. Hartman.
I'm going to keep it brief and wish everyone a very safe and happy winter break.
Thank you, Mr. Janzik.
Just want to give a shout out to the fine arts programs across the district for a wonderful marathon concert week. The reason we're here on Thursday is because there's excellent concerts here Monday through Wednesday. So shout out to the teachers and the students for a fantastic job. Happy and safe holiday season.
Thank you, Mrs. Jetty.
I've got a couple of things. I wanted to recognize Anita Dorman. She is the young lady that is putting the Spanish on the marquee out here at the junior high. And then I had a lot of fun over at Three Oaks for their Christmas bazaar, where the kids come and shop for their families. And I wanted to just give a shout out to Kristen Barth and Lane Vanderplume. These women have put a lot of time and effort into this, and it was really nice to see that there were several volunteers of retired people like myself that came in and helped the kids who are just adult. But the Three Oaks does put a, and I do have to. This bazaar was right by the gym and the cafeteria and the art room, music room. And I do have to give a shout out to the teachers, how well they do of leading 20 kids, 25 kids down the hall, a few little hand signals, everybody quiets down, gets in a single file line. I never had that kind of control over 3 kids. So good shout out to them. And I wanted to say thank you to our bus drivers. They've had a big start to winter, and they had no problems. They've done a great job. And tomorrow night, the schools will be kind of messy. And so, shout out to our great custodial staff who will get rid of all those Christmas decorations and turn those back into clean classrooms again. So, and I hope everybody has a safe and happy Christmas and New Year. That's all.
Thank you. Next up, Mrs. Potter. Okay. Mrs. Sandlin.
I want to also say happy and safe holidays to everyone. And I was at the Three Oaks 4th grade dual language, just all 4th grade class concert. I've never been to one so short before. It was kind of cool. It was 20 minutes long and standing room only. So a ton of parents there, and that was wonderful. So yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Mrs. Salt.
Couple things. Today I was excited because I remember last year we passed a plan to put like the speakers and microphones in the classroom, and I was super skeptical about it. I'm like, why? And I was in a classroom today and got to hear it, and I thought it was so cool. And the classroom that I happen to be in, I can see why it's so beneficial. So that was really neat to see firsthand. The teacher was using it really well, so I was super impressed. I'm going to this weird shout out, but to Noodles and Company and to 5th grade at Three Oaks. You guys retweeted my daughter's schoolwork, who got recognized nationally by Noodles and Company for their super cool math homework. So I love that. Shout out to that teacher. She's doing such a good job. And Also, Three Oaks teachers for their insanely creative doors. I don't know if you guys have walked the hall yet at admin, but man, did they do a great job, and I can't wait to see who wins tomorrow.
Thank you. And I just want to reiterate what the rest of the board has said, wishing everybody a safe and happy holiday season. Time well spent with your loved ones. Next up, we have the superintendent report, Dr. Thomas.
Thank you. So I wanted to say congratulations to 3 of our teachers who were just finished their national board certification. They passed their tests. The teachers are Dawn Wigginton, Erica Sujak, and Michaela DiDomenico. They all are over at Oak Knoll. It is quite a process to get that national board certification. They go through a rigorous process that requires them to demonstrate advanced knowledge of instructional expertise and deep dedication to student growth. It's not easy. And like I said, there's a test at the end too, and they all did that and passed it. And I also want to thank Lauren Tapman. Lauren is a teacher also at Oak Knoll. She is a nationally board certified teacher. She just recertified and she was the facilitator for this group. So many thanks to her for all of her hard work and dedication to the program as well. I also just wanted to remind everybody about winter break. We have a half day of school tomorrow, the 19th of December, and then no school from the 22nd of December until the 6th of January is when we come back. That's a Tuesday for students. Teachers have an Institute Day on Monday, January 5th. So on January 5th is teachers only, no students, and then students will return on Tuesday the 6th. And as everybody else has said, wishing everybody, our students, staff, and our families a very happy holiday season.
Thank you. Next, we have the teaching and learning report, Ms. Rivera.
Yeah, first thing I wanted to share, last week we sent out notification to parents about our upcoming Parent University book study. So that's exciting. Parents still have the opportunity to sign up. Additional communication about the book study will go out via the buildings next from the principals, but there is a link to click on to register. Sign up deadline will be January 9th. And then the books will be available for pickup at the school starting January 15th, with the first meeting being on Zoom, January 21st. The flyer that went out via email has a detail of each month, the topics that will be covered, their topics related to the book, but then also we're going to layer in and focus on educating our parents with what our lesson delivery model is, what is our instructional framework here in Cary 26. So that way we're all together, family, staff, admin, teachers, paraprofessionals, everybody is aware of the language and the direction that we're headed as a unified Cary 26. I also want to say thank you to D155. Special shout out to them. They had a panel discussion last week that I was invited to, where their students had the opportunity to present on both the topic of how do we recruit and retain teachers, and then they also talked about the transition from junior high to the high school. And so the high school had reached out to me to see if I would sit on the panel, listen to the students, be there to ask questions and whatnot. They had some phenomenal ideas that I came back and was like, wait, I think we can use some of these transitioning from 5th grade to 6th grade. And then also considering the 8th grade to the high school. So that was a fantastic experience. And so I just want to say thank you to D155 for that as well, that partnership together. That was really cool to be a part of that process. And then I want to say thank you to all of our families and staff who have participated in the AI survey input that went out from Miss Lynn Williams. We have had an immense amount, not the number on the top of my head, but we have an immense number of families that have submitted feedback on that AI survey, which is amazing. Lynn had said, Miss Williams had said it was one of the largest numbers of turnout of like parent responses on any survey that has gone out. So it's definitely celebration in that as well. And then also I just want to say thank you to our Cary 26 staff and our students. They have been hard at work since day one. So I hope everybody, staff, students, families, parents, the board, everybody gets an opportunity to just relax, rest, and just maybe, detach from the workload that comes with school.
Thank you. Next up, just a brief committee of the whole recap. We were presented with a data wrangler proposal. Had a brief status review of bills and treasurer's report, and then a district salary study discussion. Next up, we have the consent agenda. Included are those items that are routine in nature. Should any board member wish to remove an item from the consent agenda, the item will be discussed at the end of section 8. 7.1 are the open session minutes from the November 17th, 2025 regular Board of Education meeting. 7.2 are the closed session minutes from the November 10th, 2025 Committee of the Whole meeting. 7.3 are the total bills and payroll for board approval are in the amount of $2,880,211.20. 7.4 is the treasurer's report. 7.5 is the resignation, dismissal, retirement. 7.6 is employment. 7.7 is the destruction of closed meeting audio recordings. 7.8 is the disposal of assets. There were none. May I have a motion to approve the following: 7.1, 7.2, 7.3, 7.4, 7.5, 7.6, 7.7, and 7.8 as presented?
Ms. Darling, really quick, the treasurer's report is in section 8 right now, so I don't know if it's misplaced, but you mentioned it in 7.4.
Yeah, so we can pull that out and put it in the discussion.
Thank you.
So may I have a motion to approve the following: 7.1, 7.2, 7.3, 7.4, sorry, 7.1, 7.2, 7.3, 7.5, 7.6, 7.7, and 7.8.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? 7.8 is disposal of assets. I have 7.8 on this sheet. Okay, so this sheet is wrong. Sorry about that, everyone. Okay, let me start over here. May I have a motion to approve the following: 7.1, 7.2, 7.3, 7.4, 7.5, 7.6, 7.7.
So moved.
Maintain second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, if we could take a vote, please.
Dee Darling,
Yes.
Catherine Potter,
Yes.
Bridget Sandlin,
Yes.
Mindy Hartman,
Yes.
Julie Jettie, Stacy Salt, Jason Jancic.
Yes.
Okay, that motion is approved. Next up, we have the agenda items requiring discussion and board approval. First up is 8.1, the approval of the treasurer's report. Mr. Shepherd.
Yeah, so I'll give the board a quick update on this past month's treasurer's report. We will go into a further detail in January, as that will be the halfway point of the fiscal year. So I'll go into much more detail and kind of elaborate where we're at with both revenue and expenditures. When you look at the November treasurer's report and the all important cash flow slide, you'll notice that we actually are coming right in line with where our original budget was at. If you go back and look at our budget and the projections for surplus or deficit in each fund, you'll notice that it's very close, which is what we like to see. It means our budget is performing fairly well. A couple things of note. I would caution the board in that we're off to a fast start with snow removal. Hopefully, it's over from a financial standpoint. I'm sorry for anyone who loves the snow outside of finances. If we continue to get snow at the rate that we have been, do expect the deficit in the O&M fund to be larger. When we create that budget, we can't necessarily plan for the snowstorm of a century every single year, as that would really place a burden on the rest of the budget. So we try to split the middle with that. And over the past couple of years, we've come in under budget, obviously with snow removal. This year, I'm a little worried we might go over budget. But rest assured, there are funds in that fund that are there for emergency purposes such as that. Transportation still shows a sizable deficit. That's starting to come down. And by the end of the year, you'll notice that is either breaking even, or there could possibly even be a slight surplus in that fund. and then IMRF Social Security. It's always so weird for me being in this position that I have to root for a deficit because that is one of those funds that we need to bring down, and we need it to hit that deficit mark. And thus far, we haven't hit that with the passing year. So overall, we're projecting a $970,000 surplus, which is in line with where you would expect it to be. It's not, coming out of the COVID years where we saw an influx of cash, we were seeing big surpluses month to month. This is probably more like what we're going to experience moving forward, if not tighter budgets moving forward in the future. The CPI figure for November was 2.7. The all-important December figure we'll find out before the January round of board meetings. And that is going to really drive next year's revenue as we prepare the tax levy for next year. So be on the lookout for a more in-depth treasurer's report in the month of January as we look at the halfway point of our fiscal year.
Mr. Shepherd, what months do you include a 5-year projection in your treasurer report? The 5-year forecast?
We've done that in a variety of times. We've done that. We've done the 5-year projections sometimes in January. We've also this past year I tied that into the levy with the levy projections, and we can also. It's probably a more natural fit when we talk about the budget in the summer, so that we can talk about the current budget and how that could lead into the future budget. So we can plan on doing that then as well.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, may I have a motion to approve the treasurer's report as presented?
So moved.
Any discussion? Hearing none, if we could take a vote, please.
Catherine Potter,
Yes.
Bridget Sandlin,
Yes.
Mindy Hartman,
Yes.
Julie Jettie, Stacy Salt, Jason Jancic.
Yes.
Dee Darling.
Yes. Okay, that motion is approved. Next up, we have 8.2, the approval of the resolution authorizing transfer of engagement, appointment of legal counsel. Dr. Thomas.
Thank you. So we were notified back in October that our firm that we use, Korea Bochek, was actually merging with another firm, Fagan, Friedman, and Fullfrost LLP, also called F3, which is a lot easier to say. But they will still have the same attorneys, still be offering the same services. We would use them in the same way. Even the rates are the same. They are just merging with this firm, which is a much larger firm, a national firm that has, offices in many other states, and will allow us to have some additional services should we need them. Our attorneys that we use particularly are all going to still be there and going to be the same people. So they sent us 2 things to look at. One is a resolution for the board, for board policy, for the board to review. This acknowledges and allows the merger for the new group, which is F3, to be able to represent us. And then the other item in there is it's a 2-page letter that if the board approves the resolution, that I would then sign off on to let them know that we are acknowledging that, yes, we are agreeing to them representing us, and all of our files and everything that we do will be updated and maintained through F3, again, with our same attorneys. So we do recommend, we use Korea Bochek for quite a few things and have had very good service from them. So we do recommend that we continue on with them as they move into the F3 law firm.
Thank you. May I have a motion to approve the resolution authorizing transfer of engagement, appointment of legal counsel as presented?
So moved.
Any discussion? Hearing none, if we could take a vote, please.
Bridget Sandlin,
Yes.
Mindy Hartman,
Yes.
Julie Jettie, Stacy Salt, Jason Jancic.
Yes.
Dee Darling.
Yes.
Catherine Potter.
Yes.
Okay, that motion is approved. Next up, we have 8.3, the approval of the data wrangler proposal. Mr. Martin.
Evening, everybody. I'd like to wish everybody here a Merry Christmas, Feliz Navidad, and Happy Holidays, and to our entire district. So it's been almost a year, since I was blessed to get this position, and hopefully have made a really good impact, in the year I've been here. And I'm here to present any extra information for any questions you might have for the Data Wranglers proposal to see if we could save approximately 15% on the Cary Junior High School electric bill.
All right, let me do the motion first, then we'll ask our questions. All right, may I have a motion to approve Data Wrangler proposal as presented?
Second.
Any discussion?
Yeah, I wrestled with this all week. But I could tell, Mr. Martin, that you put a lot of thought and effort and work into this. And this is something that we've talked about for years, the junior high electric bill. And I think when we discussed the solar portion, that it's only going to maybe take about 65% of generating like 65% of the electricity needed to run that building. So there's still a substantial amount that's going to have to come from ComEdison and stuff. The part I find frustrating as a board member is we keep adding and adding stuff, and it's hard just to keep track of all this in your mind. What I did like about this is there's this opt-out after a year, okay? And I would like to ask that we get a report after the 5 months to see if we have broke even. Isn't that the break even point?
Yes.
And then a summary point of report to say how much did we save? And if it's not significant, then we can opt out after the year. That's kind of my add-ons to your workload.
Yeah, for sure. Because the great thing about that service is that they do have full reporting, and they will be giving me a monthly report of everything that we can do to save money on the electric bill. And then the opt-out after a year is also beneficial to us. So it's not in perpetuity or the 3 years as originally proposed on the contract. So they believe so much in it that they will give us that 1 year opt-out for the contract. And like from the references I checked, everything I can learn from what gets changed or improved on this building, I would be able to implement at the elementary schools without installing the device or the monthly service fees. So once I figure out like everything that's communicating and using electric in this building and helping to avoid those peak hours, because that's the main thing. We got to avoid those peak charges where they start charging us instead of 4.7 cents a kilowatt, it goes up to like $16 a kilowatt on top of the bill. So that's where we're going to see those savings. And it's all in complementary to our solar panels that are going up on the building. So we're going to save on the new contract for the price of the kilowatts. We're going to save on how many kilowatts we're going to have to buy from ComEd. And with this new device installed by the electric panel, that one is also going to help save us on avoiding those peak kilowatt hours, those peak charges that you see on the bill, and avoid that like totally. So there'll be savings upon savings upon savings. And the great thing with this investment is the return should only be that 5 months, and then we'll see those savings.
So I'm going to agree with Ms. Jetty to a point, but I am nervous about risking the $10,000 sunk cost if this doesn't work for us, on top of everything else that we're spending on solar. I know we're getting a discount if we're as an early adopter, but it doesn't come nearly as close to the $10,000 if we decide to opt out early. And so I think this is a good intention, but I think, at least in my point, we should probably wait a year before seeing if there is a need or seeing how much money we've saved. And I worry with money tightening up that a $10,000 fee now for something that we may never use again And not to say that I'm taking these school districts that are listed here, saying that they're liars or whatever, but we have a lot of change going into our system. I'm just hesitant about spending $10,000 on something that we may not use in a year.
Which is definitely why I brought it to the board to get, all of your advice and information about it. And like the difference that I see is that it affects that other part of the bill, like as they explained, like the peak charges and the transmission charges. So the solar panels are going to help reduce how many kilowatts we purchase. The new contract is going to reduce the price per kilowatt, and then that data wrangler system affects the other side of the bill with the transmission and those extra peak charges, which is where I was focusing with this proposal.
Absolutely. And again, very well intentioned. For me, I want to be a little bit more conservative, giving the state's continuing tightening of the belt. And plus maybe the opportunity for another 12 feet of snow where we could spend the $10,000 at a snow removal. No, I'm just saying you're doing a great job, Mr. Martin. I don't want this to take away from you've had a great year. The facilities they're in great shape, but I'm just hesitant to make that commitment right now. So
Totally understood.
And I'd like to also say you're doing a phenomenal job.
Thank you.
And I think that this is something I see the benefit of this. I would like to see the solar promises, if they're being fulfilled before we are piling this on, because then at what point we're kind of convoluting the savings and we're saying solar is saving, they promised us this much and we have this. And this guy's saying, well, no, that's what we did. It's the adjustments we made. I mean, I want to see the solar benefit and see if, what they've promised us is coming to fruition first before this would be an add-on after we see savings from that.
Well, in that situation, I would say it's in addition for sure, but it's a totally separate part of the bill. It's a totally separate part of the bill. And with the reporting, like the solar reporting we're going to get from allied facility partners and from the data wranglers, we'll be able to see those dollars with the reporting. Just so you know that as well.
I thought a lot about it also, and I'm glad you just said that because I looked at it as solar is going to do one job and this does that other job. That's a massive bill that's getting placed on us, and that's going to help fix that side. And to me, I don't see them as similarly helping. I see them helping in different ways. So
Totally.
I don't see the need to wait on solar to wait on this because that's a different part of the bill.
Yeah, because
Not
that
the
device they
same.
install, it's going to analyze where we're using the electricity in the building. And one of the bigger draws is our kitchen, like with all the food that we cook here and all the devices and everything we wash. And they can help us avoid those peaks in running the air conditioning at the same time as the food service. And they're even saying, like pre-cool the building, like with a couple of the other operations and facilities managers I've talked to, where they've totally changed their routine of when they turn on and off the air handlers. And
you can't get that just from saying, oh, we have solar panels now. It's
no,
different.
that's the solar panels are going to help provide some of that electricity, but
Right.
it's not going to
Get
tell us,
information.
where we're spending it.
Right. Yes. And so that for me was like super important. And that's why I appreciate this proposal. But I also like Julie, I think I like that year opt out, but I also think I think they said the ROI is 5 months. So I'd love to see where we are in 5 months if it was approved, because I think see if it's actually beneficial, see what we're saving on that other part.
Yeah, me too. Because, that's one of my main goals was to save as much in our budget as possible. And I've been trying to do that ever since I started. So
How quickly, if this is approved, how quickly does the installation happen and data report starts happening?
when I checked back in with data wranglers this week, because they wanted to make sure if I needed any extra information or details, we had proposed spring break, because there is a couple of options where they do have to shut down the building to connect their devices and run the electrical and run the cables. So they could install it as soon as spring break. It's the 22nd to the 29th, that last week in March there. And then once it's installed, like that next month, like April, we'll start to be able to get some reporting and see where we're using the electricity in the building.
I mean, I feel like I think we all probably wrestled with it. I think the short ROI on it makes it very appealing to me. And also what you just said, where if you think you can take what you learn from it and extrapolate and apply that same theory to the other buildings, that's cutting down on the cost of this. Really, if you're averaging it out over the buildings, we're doing a great job. It's speculation, but I also think there's a lot to be saved. I think conceptually we know how much power is used at this school, and that a lot of it is going to happen right after spring break when we start turning air conditioners on, because that's when things heat up. That's probably, and I'm sure our biggest bills are over this in that time period when school is full and heating up. And so I have a lot of curiosity as to whether or not we can bring that power cost down. I think there's probably a lot to learn. It drives me nuts that it doesn't come from the HVAC companies themselves, that they don't provide their own reporting, but what's their incentive? So now there's another business booming. And that part, I am with Miss Jetty on that one, that another subscription, another service, it gets exhausting, but also that's 2025. So I think I'm leaning towards yes here.
And again, we can install it at any time. We don't think about it now, next month, the month after. It's all there.
I have a couple questions. Did you talk to anybody who never recouped sort of their return on investment? Was there any that said it just never came to fruition for us?
No, the only districts I talked to were the ones that were successful with the system.
Mhm.
And I guess there is over 200 of them, like in Wisconsin, and then those few that are starting up in Illinois. The only one that they had mentioned, like in their presentation, was like an industrial company that really couldn't change their routines of the way they were using their electricity to avoid, those peak hours.
Right.
Yeah.
And then my next question is, I know that financially, like if you collect $1 today, it's worth $1. But if it takes 5 months to collect that dollar, it's not worth $1. So if that makes sense. So the longer it takes to recoup, the less valuable it is. Or am I speaking off turn in this scenario?
No, not at all, because the money that we would invest now, like I believe would bear that fruit and those savings.
Mhm.
And then we would be able to use those dollars, in another part of our facility to make it better.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's just everything I've seen, like with their information and details, looks great. Like the 5 months, that's really like 5 months,
Yeah.
it's like it's not that long of a time.
not.
So
And if it ends up being a wash in the end, and then also the sort of monthly fees, it's a low risk in sort of my opinion. If it's guaranteed, we're gonna get our money back and then additionally save more.
yeah, they said 15%, like right around 15% was like the expected, but that it could be even better.
Even better.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
So I'm worried that they're going to come back with recommendations for us. Like, for example, and I'm just pulling them out here, that, your freezers are outdated and sucking energy. Your X, Y, and Z is just so outdated and sucking energy. And then we're gonna realize this. And if it doesn't change, then we don't see those savings. So then more money is put in to replacing things that are very expensive.
Well, that makes a good point, because this building was built in 2002, and there are like certain like assets that we have that we've been, limping along with, like mainly the one that comes to mind is the dishwasher for the Cary Junior. So that one has been struggling as of lately, and then we've been pretty much kicking it and putting a few new pieces in here and there to keep it going. And you bring up a good point, because we already do have money in the referendum to improve, replace the chillers and the boilers in a couple of years, not this summer, but the summer after. And so like maybe analyzing our old chillers and boilers, maybe it's not the right time. Like until we put the brand new ones in. And then those will be more energy efficient. And then we can use that information against, like the way we use our food, like the electricity to make all the food.
Yeah, my concern kind of goes with if you give a mouse a cookie, like it's going to be one thing that will lead to another, lead to another. But if this were to pass this evening, I am 100% in support of what Miss Jetty has asked about, just agreeing to want to be notified and before that 1 year opt-out period and kind of get that review and see and make that decision. I think it's really smart.
Yeah, totally
So
understood.
I appreciate those comments as well.
Yeah, and then like that makes sense, like as far as the reporting is going to be monthly. So we're going to have that. And like your example of the old outdated equipment, I'd like to know like ahead of time if it's going to fail too, if it's having some kind of electrical problem. So like everything I've been learning over the past year is preventive maintenance. So to keep things functioning, operational, safe, and like until they're at that replacement like value. So you want to keep fixing it, like like a used car until it's time. Okay, now it's time to get a new car. So
There's no other discussion. If we could take a vote, please.
Mindy Hartman,
Yes.
Julie Jetty,
Yes.
Stacy Salt,
Yeah.
Jason Jancic,
No.
Dee Darling,
No.
Catherine Potter,
No.
Bridget Sandlin.
Yes.
thank you so much.
Thank you. Next up, we have 8.4, which is the approval to conduct a district salaries study. Mr. DeRue.
Yes, so I know last week at our committee of the whole meeting, we did discuss conducting a salary study for two groups in the district, the certified staff and the support staff. There was interest expressed in having the additional third of the staff included in that salary study, which would be our certified support staff. I did reach out to Gallagher to get the updated numbers, but they have not provided them to us yet. So it did take them a little while just with people in and out of the office to get those to us. Unfortunately, I think they'll probably be in my inbox tomorrow, but that's just a little bit too late for tonight. So I will bring an abbreviated presentation back in January with all of the numbers so then we can discuss that proposal and then go from there.
So is the board okay with tabling this until next month?
Yes. But are we allowed to ask a question while we're just right now before we? Okay. I have a question of what was the thought process of bringing this forward? Because was it because they were grouped together? Because it could have, both of the salary studies separately are under that $25,000 threshold. So you could have just done them.
Yeah,
right?
we could
Like
have. I think just in the era of transparency and, getting the
Mhm.
board's approval, I think was important to me. I wouldn't want to be the person that spends $24,999 and then you guys are a little bit miffed with the HR department. So that was my thought process, was to just, do it it's all about transparency, right? Like I want to get this data in an objective and transparent way. So that way we can really try to enact some change and do some good things for the district. So that's the thought process behind it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. So
Very
we'll look
good.
forward to that further discussion next month.
Yep. Thank you.
There were no other topics for discussion. Next up, we have closed session for the employment, compensation, discipline, performance, or dismissal of specific employees of the public body 5 ILCS 120-2C1. May I have a motion to adjourn to closed session?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, if we can take a vote, please.
Stacy Salt,
Yes.
Jason Jancic.
Yes.
Dee Darling.
Yes.
Catherine Potter.
Yes.
Bridget Sandlin.
Yeah.
Mindy Hartman.
Yes.
Julie Jettie.
Yes.
Okay, that motion is approved. Open session ends at 6:39 PM. Thank you, everyone.
Are we just in here for closed session?